Welcome to the Anaheim pregame show. I'm Chris Puckett, and we have an awesome show lined up for you guys tonight. I'll be talking to Dmaq and Nexy, my MLG experts. We'll be talking about the Friday night kickoff matches coming up. I'll also be talking to Nated, one of the most explosive players in Halo history. He's a member of Team Carbon, and at the end of the show, I'll be talking to Fear itself, the newest member of Instinct, and we have a special treat. There's a very special Soulja Boy in the building tonight. It's all getting started, but right now, it's time to check out the team changes that occurred between Dallas and now. Julie, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? Julie here from the Old Spice Report. With just 2 events left in the season, our Pro Halo 3 teams had one last opportunity to make roster changes. Instinct made the first move by replacing Ghostayami with Fear itself from Final Boss. Final Boss picked up Soviet from Believe the Hype. And after an event with Status Quo, Clutch rejoins his former team. Ghostayami took Legend's place on Classic, and Legend became the newest member on 7th seeded Status Quo. Triggers Down, Straight Rippin', and Carbon are all keeping the same rosters. Well, that's going to do it for our Anaheim team changes. Puckett, back to you.
All right, thanks, Julie. Gosh, I love working with her. Guys, right now I am joined by my good buddies, Nexy, Dmaq. Guys, welcome to the show.
Always good.
Lots to talk about here in Anaheim. Let's kick it off by talking about who made the best team change here, who benefited most coming out of Dallas with the team changes.
Well, when I think you look at the team changes, Dre, I don't know if you would agree, I would have to say Classic. Now, when you look at Classic, they lose a player in Legend who, yes, was the most positive player on their team, but they replaced him with a perennial all-star, someone who's been around the block, who's won championships in Ghostayami. And what that brings to your team, that totally changes the mindset that you have coming into the tournament. Now you're a team that's looking to play for the top 8, and suddenly you're a team that's competing for the top 4 every single time because you have a winner on your team. That's what's going to happen.
I like it. I like it. Now, Nexy, tell me, who do you think benefited most here coming out of Dallas with the team changes?
Yeah, the teams who benefited most out of the team changes are the teams that didn't make a change at all.
Obviously.
Right? I mean, they're going to continue on what they're working on, and now all these new teams, they're coming in with new rosters. They're starting from fresh. And the next event's the finals. If it doesn't work this tournament with your new team, guess what? You're stuck with them.
All right, well, I wouldn't have made some team changes, but they did. Now, let's talk about the individual team changes here. We have the first one. We got to look at Instinct. Instinct, after beating Straight Rippin' for the first time, they take off Ghostayami from their roster, and they add Fear itself from Final Boss. Dmaq, I know you don't like this move. Talk to me a little bit about this.
Oh, I don't like the move at all. The reason is, here you come into the tournament, you beat Classic for the first time this season, then you beat Straight Rippin' for the first time in your history. This is Neighbor's first time beating Straight Rippin' as a player. And now, because of, I guess, personal issues, you get rid of Ghostayami. It wasn't the best business decision. Yes, you pick up a player in Fear itself who's played with Roy and Lunchbox in the past, but he hasn't beaten a top team all season long. Fear itself has not looked like the player that we saw last season. So why are we going to expect him to turn it up now?
Yeah, Fear itself coming off a Final Boss. I mean, while Instinct's competing for top 3, Final Boss, where Fear itself is coming from, hasn't beat a team within seeded within the top 5 this entire season.
That's a good stat.
I mean, they beat 6-seeded Believe the Hype, but besides that, they haven't beaten a top team like you were saying. When you're competing for top 3, how are you going to pick up Fear itself?
All right. So Fear itself, you know, I don't think it was a smart decision to drop Ghost, but they did it. We're going to see how they play out. I can't wait to talk to the guy later. He seems really excited, and Neighbor's confident with his play style. But now let's look at Final Boss. Final Boss, they just lost Fear itself. They found themselves without a fourth, and they had some options here. Lots of free agents around. They could have gone with Ghostayami, but no. They decided to go with Soviet here. Now, let's talk a little bit about that, Dmaq. I know you're a Soviet fan. Tell me, what is Soviet going to bring to the squad?
Well, he's going to bring a lot more of aggression to that team. When you look at what Final Boss was lacking in those Game 5s, those 48-48 standstills, you didn't really see Final Boss push up. Well, with Soviet, that's not going to happen. With Soviet, you're going to improve on your objective game. You're going to improve on your slaying ability. However, you had choices of Makio out there. You had choices of Ghostayami out there. Some players that were more polished than Soviet. Soviet hasn't showed up in tournament time yet. What is to say that he's finally going to show up to his potential?
And you said they'll sit back at 48-48. Well, in the beginning of the game, even with 2 minutes gone by on Pit TS against a team in the top, not even the top 8, it's 2-1 with Final Boss losing. They're willing to sit in the beginning of the game. They're willing to sit at the end of the game.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nexy, I hear you there, and Final Boss's play style used to be like that. I think with Soviet now, he's going to lead a charge, and the rest of the team is going to have to chase after him. And to be honest, I think this is the change Final Boss needs, because Ogre 2 was once the most feared player in all of Halo. No one wanted to get in a battle with him. Now when he's sitting back with the rest of his squad, people are seeing him as an easy target. I think an aggressive Ogre 2 and an aggressive strong side combined with the Soviet and Victory to support you, it's going to be pretty incredible this event.
Speaking of Ogre 2, one thing about Ogre 2, it's his first event playing on Bumper Jumper ever. I'm excited because he's played on default the whole time since Halo 3 has come out. Finally playing on Bumper Jumper. We're going to see his up-close game improve a lot. Ogre 2 might be a different player this event.
I mean, the team's making changes, but I think they needed to make the changes. They were forced to make these changes. I don't know if Soviet was their first pick. The way I feel, you never know what you're going to get with Soviet. Sure, he placed second in Toronto last year and second in the National Championship, but what has he done since? Why did Final Boss pick him up?
They're going to be the most unpredictable team going into this event.
Exactly.
They could place first or they could place 8th. It's just a matter of tournament time.
All right, well, guys, let's now move on to the Friday night kickoff discussion. I'm pumped for these matches, guys. We're on the West Coast, the early show. Now let's check it out. First matchup, Dynasty, your number 9, the young guns who have been taking out the big names, versus Believe the Hype, the number 8 seed who just got Clutch back, and they made a few other roster swaps there. What do you guys expect to see here in this first matchup? I think it's going to be pretty close.
When you're looking at Dynasty, you were definitely impressed last event, and now they pick up 2 players in a Pure Gangster who really impressed me in Dallas. When I looked at what a Pure Gangster did, he took Under the Influence to the top 8. And then you have another player in Tzoxic who is a polished player on Ambush. He's been playing top 8 consistently for a long time now. You're bringing some experience and some slaying power to the team, definitely an improvement. Now on the other side, when you're looking at Believe the Hype, you lose a player in Soviet and you pick up Clutch, who personally hasn't really impressed me since the opener of the season. It's going to be interesting to see whether Believe the Hype improve, but I know Dynasty improved.
All right, now let me get your prediction before I throw it to Nexy. First series, what's it going to be?
I'm going to say 3-2 Dynasty. I think this one goes a long way, and we see the upset.
All right, I just watched Believe the Hype play over here. Nexy, talk to me. I see that big smile on your face. What can we expect to see out of Believe the Hype in this first match?
You're going to see a lot of Believe the Hype, but I got to say, I like Dynasty. I like Dynasty last event, but guess what? They're a new team. Last event, they really showed a teamwork that a top 8 team should have. Some of the best teamwork in the entire tournament, but they're a new team. Believe the Hype's also a new team, but they have Maniac. Maniac, you guys know. I mean, he has his on days, he has his off days. But when he's on, the kid's lethal. He's going to win games for you. And with that team, Clutch, I mean, he's all about confidence. When this kid's confident, when that entire team's confident, they win series. Look what they did at Meadowlands at the opener, right? You got Maniac. These guys are beating Triggers down online. I was just watching them beat Instinct in a warm-up game. These guys are confident. You really think Dynasty can stop a confident Believe the Hype?
The best player in that series is Demon D. Without a doubt, Demon D is very impressive in this game. However, I like the 4-man squad that Dynasty puts together. I think it's very impressive.
It's the Believe the Hype from Meadowlands plus Maniac. Dynasty's
this
not beating that.
This was a toss-up, but guys, you're both going to owe me $5 after this one. I'm calling it. Ready?
What do you call it?
3-0 sweep, Believe the Hype over Dynasty. I just watched them warm up against Instinct. Yeah, they're hot right now.
They're beating Instinct right there.
It's going to be dirty. But now let's go talk about the second matchup. I expect this one to be a little bit sloppy as well. Well, actually, really exciting. Carbon versus The Influence. Carbon immediately becomes fan favorites after their last event. That Shockwave, Walshy, naded on the squad, and you got Defy. Big names now. Can they keep it up against The Influence here in Anaheim?
Well, before we start going on the Carbon bandwagon, this guy right here, I got to talk about The Influence. They're good. They're a really well-rounded team.
First off, you know Dmaq built the Carbon wagon, right?
I built that wagon.
He's driving it.
I love that wagon.
Driving
All right, continue.
But no, it's The Influence, right? You got Talent and Twilight. They've been around forever, and they were a little immature in the past, but I think they finally found their groove. They're at that mature age where they're going to start winning games, do what it takes to win games. Talent isn't picking up Sniper anymore. That says a lot. Then you got Batman. And guys, on midship, one player can win midship. That's how the map plays. It's small enough where one player can just dominate. And this kid supposedly is running around and getting slice and dices with the sword.
What's a slice and dice?
I don't even know.
Well, it's a 10 kills with the sword, but keep going.
But no,
Good point.
Scott is really impressed by Batman. He's going to win games by himself on midship, right? And then you got Ant. Ant is back.
Ant is back, baby.
Yeah.
The Ant from Classic. In our opener, he finished second. He's fallen off the face of the earth, but he's back now, Nexy.
And he promised me, I was talking to him a minute ago, he promised me, hey, I'm the Ant from Meadowlands. You're going to see a lot out of me. And you want to know why? It's because he brought all his friends. He's standing down there with about 10 of his friends from California. It's his hometown. And when he plays on the main stage, it's going to get loud.
Well, I agree with you. Under the Influence has definitely improved. But then you look at the other side of who they're playing. They're playing Carbon, a team who 3-0 straight ripping, beat Instinct, and beat Final Boss in the very same tournament. They came out and dominated. I'm sorry. Under the Influence, I believe you're a great team, but you have no chance round one against Carbon. This team is going to come out firing on all fours, and we are going to see the best of Nated.
Yeah.
I know that's hard to believe. I watched the last tournament too, but we're going to see the best of this man. I talked to him before the event. He said he's been shooting the best that he's ever shot. These guys are on point right now. I expect another second place finish.
No team here can beat Carbon unless you have an answer for Nated. Plain and simple.
All right, well, speaking of Nated, guys, we're going to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, Nated is joining the pregame show. Stay tuned.